Hey guys, and welcome to the Mind Performance Health podcast. This one is titled Road to Pro, and I'm joined by Bailey, your newest ICN Men's Physique Pro. You just came off the World Games at ICN, and I thought it'd be a cool one, Bailey, to just discuss your journey. Obviously, you're a coach here at Mind Performance Health, but I'm super proud of what you've done, and that's why I wanted to do this episode for the audience and listeners, just to get an idea of what it takes to be a pro, right? Which is what you are now, a professional natural bodybuilder, which is pretty awesome to say, right? So, like I said, I'm super proud. I'm excited to get in this one because I think you got a lot of insight for listeners to gain because you had to earn this one big time. It wasn't a breeze through. You had to put in the work. And I think, like our listeners, will get inspired, motivated, and have some key lessons from your experience as well. So, mate, how are you feeling? How does it feel to be a pro natural bodybuilder?
Yeah, it does feel great. It does feel awesome when you put so much time and effort into something and you get rewarded for it. It's awesome. I felt like it was only a matter of time with the efforts that we both have put into it and the feedback that we've got. We've always done that exactly what we needed to do, and we have improved. And each running and each time we have competed, I have competed, we have improved. So I knew that in the back of my mind, in a humble way, where it was bound to happen because that's all we were fighting for. It was just a matter of time if I needed to improve again. But like I said, it's great when you get rewarded for all the hard work and dedication.
100%. Yeah, because like I said, this one was earned. So it feels good, yeah?
Yeah, it feels amazing.
Yeah, so we're going to unpack. We're going to go right back to the start of you competing, to the improvements that we needed to make to get to where you are now. And then we're going to look ahead as well at what your next chapter is with competing, you know. So let's do just that. Let's go to the very start. What year did you start competing?
My first show was 2022.
Yep.
So 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago. And obviously we got into ICN, right? That's where we kicked off, and that's where you are pro now. But why did you get into competing? It's a great question, but not to go on a massive rant. It was I started here with MPH as a coach. My background was playing football and soccer, and I remember the first time I met Mick, I think Alicia asked me, she goes, would you ever consider competing? And I thought, yeah, you know what, why not? And I was looking up to people like Chris Bumstead and always watching them, and started training, and it was more so just then experience, and I knew that I would gain a lot of knowledge through the process anyway. So I thought I'm not going to lose anything trying this. And then, of course, going through the process and then doing very well in my first show made me realize that there is potential there. Am I willing to put into the work and sacrifice and dedication to it? And then really just fell in love with the sport, to be honest. I fell in love with the improvements. I fell in love with the things that you learn, the things that you gain from it. It's not just physically, it's the mentally too, the things that you have to sacrifice, the things you have to go through. So not only did I improve physically, but I improved as a person too. With dedication, with sacrifice, with all those things, I think come with great knowledge and great experience. Yep. And then I did well in my first show, and then basically just got the feedback that I needed to do even better, and then I just wanted to get better. I just fell in love with getting better. Yeah, so it kind of started as a challenge, right? And like I know when we first started, you were pretty conditioned, like you had a good athletic background, you were into, which is a natural progression for a lot of people that get into competing, and a lot of competitors and athletes, is that they maybe have a sporting background, or they're in the gym and they want to challenge themselves a bit more and see what they can do. And then like with our first shows, like if we look at the improvements, right? Like your first show, and let the listeners know, an audience know, like the experience, right? So we got up there for the first show, just to get a feel for it, you know, and see if you would enjoy it and how, you know, where you can go with it. And you did quite well. You know, you won your age classes. You were one of the younger competitors up there. And then we just fell short in the overall position. Like not too bad for your first season, yeah?
Yeah.
But
with that, like, what was the feedback from the judges? What did we need to work? We just fell short from overall positions. We went to states. We were just short of top positions there as well. All right. Talk to me about how you felt when you fell short at those shows. Like, how did you feel?
For my first ever show, it was more so. I managed my expectations very well. So it's not like I want to. I'm gonna win. I want to win. I didn't have that mindset. It was more so, like we said before, it was experience, see where I place, see how I do. So then when I got the placings that I got, I thought to myself, that's pretty cool. You know, I have potential in this sport. For my first show, the placing I got was quite good, and I was very happy about it. I was very, very happy about it. I think just stepping on stage itself was a massive achievement. So the result, whatever it was at the time, I was happy. Yeah. But it did definitely then just build a fire. It built a fire, definitely.
Yeah, which is cool. And that's why I wanted to see just like, or share how you felt, because sometimes competitors have big expectations. They should win everything. They can get let down if it's not made. And we always do the best we can to be the best you can and we can as a team. But I think that's important to share, because sometimes when competitors fall short or what they expect to fall short on, they won't continue afterwards. They won't put in the improvements. They'll stop. But you're a testament to managing expectations, appreciating, just beating your standard, right? And it's always a battle mentally, no matter what. Yeah. But then now you've put in the work and walked away with a top spot because of the dedication and consistency. Yeah. So we went through the first shows 2 years ago. Yeah. Right. Feedback. What did judges say we needed to be better?
So for my first show, the feedback was, one, posing. They said I definitely have a great physique, but to showcase that needs to be better. Posing needs to be better. So one, straight away, was practicing that every day to make sure that I can showcase the best physique possible. You could have a great physique, but if you don't know how to showcase that, you're only letting yourself down. So that was one. Two, they said conditioning was no issue. It was just size. It was just size. It was just fullness. So then coming into the second show of the same season, we tried to bring that fullness in without sacrificing too much condition, and I think we did do that. But it wasn't not so much about fullness. It was just about I just needed to spend a bit more time in the lab, in the gym, and putting on that quality tissue.
And was it worth it?
And it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. And it's each phase is difficult in its own. Like obviously prepping and dieting and being in a deficit is definitely tough. But then there's the other spectrum of force feeding yourself to a point where you're not hungry. You get the fluffiness, you get full. It's like, and I would always come to you saying, Mick, I don't want to eat. Am I getting fat? You know what I mean? And that comes with experience and it comes with knowledge. And you have to go through those experiences to understand why you're going through it. And then now it all makes sense, right? So yeah, it was size, it was fullness, and then we chose to take 6-8 months off to do that. And we did that, and we came in definitely so much bigger this year. So the time we spent off was worth it, and I've got feedback from other competitors and other people saying like, yeah, you've put on a lot of size, and I definitely think that's the way to go about it, is to always look at what we need to improve and what the judges say. Like you said on Instagram the other day, it doesn't matter what your family says, it's what the judges say is what's needed to be done. And then Mick straight away heard the feedback, and we just like, let's do it, we got to do this, and we executed it, we did it, and it all paid off.
Yeah, well, you need to make a decision, and for some competitors, they'll struggle mentally with building phases or lean. Now, it's not that we want to put on too much body fat during a building phase. We want to limit it as much as possible, because then you can, not gain as much muscle or hypertrophy if you do it incorrectly. But your body fat does come up a bit during those phases, and your output does come down. But I find a lot of competitors, they'll compete, they like staying lean, but mentally there's a roadblock for them to actually put in the work to build more tissue, if that's what they need. Yeah. And as long as the judging feedback is quality and it's usable, you're right, like that's what I believe is that's the best thing to go off for you to be better, as long as it's quality. Yeah. So we got that feedback. They were like, all right, more tissue, more size, conditioning's pretty good, posing need to improve. And we went through an improvement season. We improved on that feedback, those details. And we didn't just do bodybuilding training. We were very specific. What needed to improve? Like, we built your delts, arms, chest, men's physique.
Yeah.
Big, wide back, shoulders, smaller waist, bigger arms. And we did bring a package, a lot more proportion, but a lot more mass to this one as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool to get the feedback off competitors that you were competing against before, saying they noticed the difference, but also the judges' feedback as well, with what they really liked in this one. So we spent that time building specific areas, right, for that improvement season. We came back new and improved. And we didn't just spend 12 weeks. We spent a good amount of time with the food elevated up and focusing on building tissue. Then we came into your first show. So talk to me, first show, which was State Championships, 2024 Season B. Talk to me about your experience for that show.
Yeah, so it was awesome again. So then going back to talking about expectations, this one was, yes, me and Mick, before we set a plan to really execute this prep and going into these shows, is we looked at each other like, look, I want to go pro. I'd love to get that pro card. This is what I want. So then, of course, Mick was always managing my expectations of, look, you never know what happens. But that was definitely in the back of my mind of what I wanted and what I wanted to get out of this prep. So States it was a great show. ICN always put on a good show. Now, I did age groups. I won my age. Novice we won novice as well.
So we won age group, novice, and then we had opens.
Yep, and then had opens, and then we fell short just on at opens. And Mick was very certain of what it was, and it was funny actually because it was conditioning, and so it was the first time in my career that conditioning was the reason why maybe I fell short. And like I said, last year was, okay, conditioning was fine. It was the size and the fullness. Then first show of this season was fullness and size was fine.
Yeah.
But we actually needed to be a little bit tighter in the midsection.
Yeah.
And at the time I walked off, Mick's like, we need to be leaner. And I was like, no, surely
you
not.
said to me, I remember, you were like, I can't get any leaner.
Yeah. And I was convinced, like, I don't think I can get leaner. And we did that. We got leaner. We pushed it. And then that was exactly the feedback was, it was just to be a little bit more tighter in the midsection. And so again, straight away, it was, I think, a 2-week turnaround from States to then Nationals. And then we did that. But I was very happy at States. I was like bummed a little bit coming so close to getting that first opens.
Up quite a fair bit.
But leveled up,
yeah.
Definitely. And it just gave me more, it built more fire to go, okay, I just need to do more. And at the time, I was like, I don't, at the time, straight away as I walked off when Mick said, I was like, I don't think I can. I don't think I'm pinching myself like, look at Mick, where? But then I settled down, went home. It's like, all right, let's execute it. And we did exactly that. And then, yeah.
Yeah, and then we shot for Nationals. So
Yep.
I was like, we just need a bit more conditioning. And I was like, no, we'd be right in the mix of it. And then we had the National Championships in Melbourne, where the best athletes in Australia go to compete for ICN. And then our game plan, we had feedback, and I could see it anyways. It was just a touch more conditioning. Size, fullness I was happy with, and I wanted to bring in just as much fullness, or we wanted to, for that competition, but bring that conditioning in. And you can do a lot in a couple of weeks, playing with a little bit more fat loss, the carb load a bit. And we tweaked the right things, and then we brought an even better package to Nationals, right? Now, Nationals, we were shooting for this to get our pro card, right? This was where the pro card was going to be made. Now, we didn't get our pro card at Nationals. So talk to me, what happened there?
Yeah, so at the time I thought at a national level you win the opens class, you get a pro card. But that wasn't the case this year round. ICN have brought in a pro qualified card, which is fine. So, which means I won my opens and I was qualified to be a pro, which means I was qualified to then go into pro shows and go up against the other pros in Australia, the best in Australia. And then if I get top 3 in a pro lineup, I would then get pro card. So we got that, happy about it. I was like, there's that. I wish that was a pro card, but that's okay. It is what it is. And then at the pro show at the Nationals, we got 4th. So again, I just fell short on that pro card
card.
for at nationals. So I was like, all right, what is it now?
Yeah.
What do I need to improve? Conditioning was
Right
quite good.
there. You were literally
We were so
like
close.
right there and top 3
Yeah.
and just missed out one spot
Yeah.
on like the pro
We
card
were
at nationals.
so close.
And
So
then-
close.
Yep, and then it was all done and dusted. That was the season. We had goals to get pro card. We didn't achieve it at nationals.
Yeah.
But then the opportunity came up for world championships.
Yeah.
We're the best athletes in the world with ICN travel
Yeah.
to compete for the title of world champion.
Yeah.
And we didn't actually make a goal to compete at world championships. We were like, oh, we'll do nationals, we'll shoot for the pro card there, but we didn't actually anticipate to compete at world games, which was 2 weeks later. But when I saw how close you were, I was like, I cannot let him not compete at world championships. I just had this feeling. I was like, nah, you got to do it. So
Yeah.
talk to me, the experience after nationals. Firstly, how did you feel after nationals?
Yeah, so I was naturally I was quite hard on myself. I was like, I thought again I improved from states, and I was just then stuck. Like, what else was it? What else did I need to improve? So I was of course blessed and happy to be able to step on a stage and do what I can do, which is awesome, which is a privilege. So a little bit disappointed, because it's like I was so close. Of course, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But then again, going back on then like feedback and what we felt like what it was, conditioning we brought in was beautiful. Fullness and size was fine. So it was just posing again. It was just as simple as in my front pose, I had two hands off my hips. And then the other boys that were beating me there had hands on hip or one hand on hip, which made them look a little bit wider.
Yeah.
So Mick's like, look, we got to do that. The other boys are doing it. They look wider, and then we'll practice it. Mick's like, you do look wider in that pose. So I just kept practicing it and started to execute that. Then took that into the World Championships, because it was funny, and that's where the challenge was after Nationals, was expecting to be done, expecting to be finished, and stayed in Melbourne for an extra couple of days to then eat more and enjoy the Melbourne food. But Mick was definitely in my ear saying like, it's silly if you don't. It's silly if you don't. And at the time I'm thinking like, do I have it? Do I have more in me to push? Some people were telling me, look, you've done well, just now start building. Yeah. Some other people were saying, look, you're right there.
Yeah.
You're right there. And of course, Mick was one of those people, and I was definitely then listened to Mick as I should, and then definitely took it on and then finished it off strong. But it was definitely a challenge though, because coming from a high, winning my age groups, coming so close, coming off a high, I was celebrating that, but Mick was very good at reminding me like, yeah, you did well, but you got this to focus on now.
Yeah.
Don't celebrate too much, which was great, and that's what I needed and what everyone needs, right? So yeah.
Yeah, well, look, it's credit to you, mate. You made the decision to do it. I knew the goal of get a pro card, and you were right there to get it. And I knew what you brought to the stage every single time is right there. And it was just a matter of time. And it was another roll of the dice, only 2 weeks away. And I knew two things. If we improve our posing, get a little bit more condition again, and be just as full and sharper with the physique, we'll be, because we had the peak weeks down pat at that point.
Yeah.
Small little adjustments that I truly believe that you would get it, you know, and it was worth the chance. So we gunned for it. You made a decision, so that's on you. You made the call to do it. I just support your decision, and just let you know what I think, honestly. And we gunned for it. Went to World Championships. Right, you were a much more improved physique, the best physique you've ever brought to date. Posing was much more improved as well. And we had literally, you didn't do age groups, right? You just had one shot in the Opens, and the Pro Qualifier too, but we were shooting for the Opens. And, mate, what happened? What happened in the Opens?
So, yes, so Opens came. I chose to just do Opens, just so I'm fresh. I knew at Nationals when I did my age group and then did Opens, a bit of fatigue comes in. We're running the risk of losing our pump. So I was like, let's just gun for Opens. That's what we want. We know we're pretty competitive and we can win our age groups, but let's just look for opens. Now these are the best athletes in Australia. The guys were phenomenal. They were great guys. They looked awesome. We won opens and came first at Worlds, which was amazing. It was such a great feeling. And that awarded me my pro card, which is what we were gunning for. So I was just so overwhelmed with the feeling of getting it, walking off, and again going back to Mick reminding me, don't celebrate too quick. But that I walked off, I was like, we did it. And Mick just looks at me, gives me a handshake, goes, yeah, but you got pro lineup now. Yeah. I was like, yeah, but I just won pro. This is what we got. He goes, yeah, no, you got pro now, which is great though, which is very true, because it's like we got what we wanted, but now it's to see how we stand against the best professional athletes in the world. Which was such an awesome experience.
Yeah, man. The goal of this season was to get pro card, and I was so proud of you, man, to see you up there, because I knew we were gunning for it. I knew mentally you had to re-engage because we didn't anticipate even doing that comp. So I was proud of you for making that decision. And then to see you get up there, do your thing, it's always like, as a team, it's cool to see. You know what I mean? Especially when it all comes together. But correct. I'm very much like, all right, sweet. Let's. We're going to celebrate afterwards, but you got to focus, because now, you had overall for the whole show, and also the pro lineup.
Overall too,
right? Yep. So you went up, you did overall, you came second in the overall, and then you had the pro lineup. And this is where I was very curious to see now your baseline.
Yes.
You know? So in the pro lineup, we had, was it 14 or 16?
16 competitors.
Yeah, so 16 competitors in the men's physique pro for ICN at the World Championships. And what did you place out of 16 for the pro lineup?
So I got 7th. Which I was happy. I had no expectations running in that. I just knew that, like, wow, it was my first pro show, so it was my pro debut. I just want to see where I sit now. And so when I got 7th, I was over the moon. I was like, that's beautiful. And then obviously looking at the guys that got top places, it was just, more time in the gym. They were older than me. Had more tissue, had more muscle than me. So, but it was just such a great experience to be able to get up there with the other pros and see where I look. And like you say, Mick, new level comes with a new devil, which is great, which is so true, which is good now. So it's a new level that now we can work towards, and something more to now improve and get better and better. So then, in the near future, we will get top placings in pro lineups. 100%. That's the plan, and then we just got to put more time into it to be able to do that.
That's it. The game's now changed. We've got IFBB, the natural division coming in July next year, 2025, which is going to be should be super competitive. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. But now you've got the pro lineups with ICN as well. Yeah. So once again, we just get the feedback off the judges, what we need to improve. And it's a good lesson for anyone listening to this. If you have specific goals of how you need to look yourself to be competitive in a class, I think you need to maximize that, with your training, with your nutrition. Some athletes need to build more and spend more time in an improvement season. That might be a year, 2 years even, of just building the lean tissue. Some clients might have the mass and need to work more on proportions or conditioning. So you just need to reflect and view. So like with yourself now, our game plan is to build. Not a massive building phase. We've only got a few months, and then we're going to cut down and compete Season A, IFBB, ICN. So I'm very excited to see the new baseline of what is Bailey now. As the men's physique ICN Pro. So mate, like with the audience, do you think there's any? For myself, the thing that's cool about yourself is that you had to earn it. Like I said, we needed size. That wasn't going to be done in a couple of months. We spent that time building in the right areas. Came back improved, Didn't get it straight away. No. We had to fight for it for a couple more weeks, and then we had to make quick decisions, right? It's like, do I relax now, or do I do this competition and roll the dice again and be the best I can? And you did that. So I think it's a good testament of it had to be earned. It was not given. It had to be truly, truly earned, which I think is a great lesson for life. Like you said, it builds your character, and opens up doors, I think. Whereas for some athletes and people just in life, they stop whenever there's adversity that they got to overcome. So you overcame that adversity, and I'm very proud as your coach, as your friend, and as part of your team to see you do that. So So yeah, mate, I'm super, super proud of you. So, but is there any takeaways or final points that you think would be cool for the listeners and audience?
Yeah,
with
I
your journey?
mean, through the experience of this year, it's definitely one of the biggest things that, like Mick said, you had to really work for it. Now, what's that test? It definitely tests my patience. In a good way, where it's like if you want something, you're gonna have to work for it. It's not gonna be handed to you. So definitely learning to have patience with it. But what my biggest takeaway was like I said, when I thought I couldn't get leaner, at Nationals I thought, oh my God, I got leaner, but it's still falling short. What I want to say and let everyone know is that we are so much more capable than we think sometimes.
100%.
We have the voices in our head, we have the little doubters, but we are capable more than we think. So much more than we think. You just really have to have a great circle. And in saying that, I couldn't do this without Mick and his support. I couldn't do this without the MPH team. I couldn't do it without the MPH clients supporting me, encouraging me to do it. So I definitely think a good circle to support you is so important. But we are just so much more capable than we think.
Yeah, that's
So
a great
much more
point.
capable.
Yeah, I think if you've got the right support and those that believe in you, even at times when you may not believe in things yourself,
Yes.
it can influence your decisions,
Yep.
behaviors for the better. And this is a good point of that.
Yep.
And then, what you want is just on the other side of that quality decision you make.
Yep.
So I think that's a fantastic finishing point. Yeah. And guys, look, if you're ever interested in our coaching services, you can check out the links below. We have both face-to-face and online coaching. You might want to compete. You might not want to compete. You might want to build some muscle, get fitter, get healthier and get stronger, help with your nutrition and fitness goals and body composition. So if you're ever interested, we've got free resources down below. Click the links, check them out. I wish you guys all the best with your own health and fitness goals. And if you ever need help with our team, you can get in touch with us to have a chat to see what we can do for your own specific goals. So thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks for Bailey for coming on. Going to be more episodes for the next one as we chase your next goals. And just keep doing what you're doing, man, and inspiring myself, team, clients, family, friends. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, mate.
All right. So thanks guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.